Hey everyone, welcome to the next part of the mech tutorial. This will cover the role the torso will play in your mech, and it'll also go over basically the general plan for the entire mech. Considering this is like the first part after the prologue, I feel like I should get that out of the way early so that you know what to expect in later parts. So first I'll start with, the overall plan, how I intend the mech to look, what weapons I want it to have, and etc. Starting with the body, I just kind of used a bunch of references I thought looked good. Like, if you watched the prologue last video, it'll probably look something like a lot of those. As for, the body type I'm going with, it'll probably be, a middleweight, just because, in theory, that'll give you the best balance between, mobility and strength. For public swim, I kind of want to have a bit of both, I would say. Let's see, as for the weapons, I'll try to include a variety of weapon types, spikes. Those will be melee weapons, and a sword or a spear probably. I'll try to include both types of ranged weaponry, so bullet parts and lasers. Not to discredit spike guns, but I'm not doing those this video, fuck that. Let's see, so if you've seen Tournament 0, it's on Mecha Sharkfin's channel. It's one of the first, the first EE mech tournament. It'll look something kind of like Moth, probably. Anyways, I want to cover as many weapon types as possible so that I meet as many people's needs, People watching this might want different weapon types than what I'm envisioning. You can make requests or something for those, like in the comments if you need me to add anything else, but at present it'll have probably, laser guns, bullet part guns, and various melee weapons. So overall, that's the vision I have for the mech right now. Next I'll continue to the specific parts of the torso, what it'll do in the mech and stuff. So in most of my mechs, the torso serves as the center for movement. I give it a bunch of thrusters and flight parts arranged to take inputs from vehicle seats, so it moves laterally, so forwards, backwards, left and right with WASD, like your character would walk. You can also move vertically. It's got upward thrusters that make it, for lack of a better word, fly pretty much. They've got their own key, and there's also, I usually add flight parts as well. They're like brakes is what I use them for, and they've also got their own key. So for steering, I make mine follow the mouse. It uses servos and aim parts. I'll discuss the logic for that a bit in another section. It's coming up soon. For that, I'd like to address that I'm still learning logic myself. I do not know everything about this game yet. EE is still relatively new. It came out and released to the public in January of this year. I might have to update some stuff later in this tutorial if I learn how to make something better or something new that I want to add to a different part. So keep that in mind. In future parts, I might go back to earlier parts just to make them better. As for detail, the torso has a pretty important role there. It's I see it as the reference point for pretty much the whole mech. You can start there. I guess that's better to explain it. You can start there. It's got a lot of power in determining the way the rest of your mech will look, in my opinion anyways. You can apply the proportions for other limbs with it, and a lot of mechs in pop culture and stuff will also have weapons mounted to the torso, or other types of equipment, for lack of a better word. So here's some examples. We've got, this is a picture of my mech's logic here. So we've got this massive thrusters over here. That's the thruster core, if you will. It's the WSD thing. There's some aim parts and servos that'll make a turn. Here's another example. This mech has it's got these laser guns on the back. That's an example of torso-mounted weaponry. There's a lot of that you'll find in pop culture. So a couple examples Striker Riku from Pacific Rim's got this nuke attached to its back. There's let me see. If you've seen Code Geass, or say it, Code Geass, A lot of the nightmares, they have these wings in the back in the later seasons of the series. So, yeah, torso is like, in my opinion, it's a good foundation for the rest of the mech. You can get a good grasp over your movement logic and proportions. I will say that you don't have to start from the torso, it's just where I recommend. Now, next up we got the frame and logic, and so, this is for people who, kind of want to skip the, detail. Okay, let me backtrack here. I did say that I don't know if I said this or not, but I plan to upload logic and detail in the same video with 2 sections, but that did not work out. I'm gonna have to do the detailing part in a separate video just because my editor does not like having 2 of them together. It's too long and it takes forever to upload. Like, I've tried and failed, and this is just easier, and it still, I would say, makes some degree of sense in terms of organization, so that's how probably it's going to be for the future. Anyways, though, for anyone wanting the, frame and logic, here it is. So, I kind of already made this before I made the video, so sorry I can't do it live, really. That's, I guess you could go to the detailing video for that, but even then, I didn't even actually use I made the frame as I went, which is kind of intuitive. That's not what you're supposed to do with a frame. Don't do what I did, but that's how I recorded it, so sorry about that. As for the logic, though, for the movement logic, basically you get some thrusters and face them forward. Both of them face the same direction. You can do more than 2. I just happen to do 2 on this one. That's usually I've been doing it for the last while. Anyways, though, you get these forward-facing thrusters, the throttle input from a driver's seat. You can multiply the input by a number to make it faster, and then plug it into the thrusters as well if you need it to be speedier. For side-to-side movement, you can get some sideways-facing thrusters and give them the steering input. Make sure they face the same direction as well. I guess you could have them different directions, but it's just easier when it's the same direction. It accepts both A and D inputs, so they have to face the same way for that to work. Otherwise, you have to give one of them like a negative input or something. I never tried it that way, and I don't really intend to because this works fine. Anyways, next you need a flight part. So for speed, you can give it just give it 0 speed, and for force, give it like a max constant integer. So that's about roughly 420 million, I think, is the max. What this will do is basically force your mech to remain at 0 speed. It's like a brake. I like having this because you can counter flinging with it and stuff. It's, in my opinion, fairly useful. And then, okay, one more thing. To activate and deactivate the flight part, give it a keybind, just like plug it into just straight to the flight part. Let's see, now for upward thrust, get a thruster and face it upwards. Get a switch box and have it alternate between 0, turn it off, and then, whatever amount of thrust you want it to have turn it on. I would say, again, probably a lot, because your mech is going to be probably pretty heavy. I'll try to get some specific values once I have more of the mech made, but it's hard to tell with just a torso, and at this point I just have a torso and a head, so yeah. Once you have that, though, choose a keybind to do the switching, basically. Let's see. For steering, you need an aim part and a servo. basically you have to attach the bottom of the servo to the aim part and the top to the torso. Another thing that's probably optional but that I like to do on my mechs is give the aim part a keybind, but only for force. Leave the other one blank, it'll override what you need, some logic you need, basically. Giving it only force, though, makes it so that you can do flips and other stuff that requires you to turn off your stabilization, because the aim part is what keeps your mech standing upright and stable. There's a lot of maneuvers you can do, especially in the air. Like, I like making my mechs fly, most of them do. That's kind of the meta at the moment. If you give your aim part a keybind so you can turn that off, you can get a little more mobility in the air, so I recommend that personally. That aside though, next get a 3D mouse position sensor and a global to relative part. Put the global to relative in your torso and plug the mouse sensor into it. So what this does is it makes, well, we need the next part to really explain this, so I'll explain in a second. You get the global to relative, the relative position output, and plug that into a turret handler. Then lastly, get the turret handler's yaw, and plug that into the servo. So what this does is it basically takes the position of your mouse in the world and makes the servo follow it pretty much. So it's similar to an aim part, but stronger. Aim parts got nerfed heavily, and they don't really have enough strength to turn most people's mechs nowadays. This is kind of a way to bypass that nerf, and it's, more effective. It's been the meta for the last few months, to my knowledge. So yeah, that's way your mech follows your mouse. I'll try tuning it better in a later part. Like I said, it's kind of hard to with my mech at its current weight. I don't have enough mech yet to really give specific values. At the moment, mine is choppy and slow, and I will try to fix that in the next parts. Unless there's just something I'm doing really wrong, it's just I don't know what numbers to use yet, so I'll get back to that in a later part. Like I said, I'm gonna have to update some stuff. That's one of the things I plan to update. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next part. It should be detailing the torso, because for some reason my editor went to shit when I tried to upload it on this part. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.